Welcome to the Rubin Community Workshop 2025. On behalf of NSF DOE Viracy Rubin Observatory leadership, I welcome you and I am sincerely delighted to be with you. This is our observatory and our workshop. Whether you are Rubin staff, an in-kind contributor, a science collaboration member, a newcomer, a veteran, a scientist in the US, Chile, or in the in-kind community, we are all in this together. Our goal is to explore the universe through the legacy survey of space and time. Our journey of exploration begins this year. In fact, it has actually begun with the release of Data Preview 1. At this meeting, we will discuss with each other where the observatory is in anticipation of starting the LSST, where it is headed, and yes, even some early science results. After decades of work, we have arrived at the precipice of discovery. Before we get to the status of the observatory and the amazing science that lies before us, I want to acknowledge the challenges we have faced this year as a community. As we stand ready to start the LSST, it is clear to me that the Rubin Observatory, the community and people that built it, the people that stand ready to operate it, and those that are going to do science with it, demonstrate that opportunity for all individuals with diverse backgrounds, places of origin, and lived experiences leads to great things when they work together and have opportunities to contribute. Thank you. Rubin and its community have always welcomed everyone, and in so doing, we have succeeded beyond our expectations. That is because complex problems require the strength of purpose and excellence that comes from diverse ideas and thinking in order to solve them. Every one of you is here because of your ideas and abilities. In other words, your merit and excellence. You have something of value to contribute to Rubin Observatory and the LSST. This week, we're going to talk about the technical challenges that still face us and how we will work to overcome them together. We will talk about early science and a view to the future. But not least, we'll talk about and demonstrate our support for each other as we start the LSST. I can't wait for what is next. So without further delay, we have a few logistical notes for you about the coming week, and then an amazing look at the current status of the observatory and the successes you have all contributed to over the last year from Željko Ivasic, the Rubin Observatory Project Director. Thank you.
All right, hi everyone, my name's Melissa Graham, the lead community scientist for Rubin Observatory. You've all been getting lots of emails from me this week, so thanks for being here. Just want to take you through a bunch of reminders about what's going to happen this week. The first one is that we have a code of conduct. Harassment and unprofessional conduct is not permitted. If you experience or you witness it happen to someone else, please do reach out to one of our RCW code of conduct contacts. That's Sandrine, Andy, and Fed by email. Also, COVID-19 is still with us. If you have any questions or if you feel unwell, use the confidential email address. Look for stickers on people's name badges that indicate their comfort level with contact, whether they like handshakes, fist bumps, or neither. And do wear a mask if you want to. This is a mask-friendly environment. We have a lost and found. It is the registration desk. If you find something, take it to the registration desk and not to the hotel front desk. Also be mindful of people's social batteries. If someone's wearing a pin like this and it indicates low batteries, maybe just give them their space or offer to start up the conversation again at another time. For our virtual participants, please be muted when you're not speaking. For everyone who is in the rooms, everything that you say has to be said into a microphone or our virtual participants won't see it. Please do use the Rubin 2025 Slack space. Every single session has a channel, and that's where a lot of the Q&A is going to happen, is in that Slack space. You can also raise your hand and type your questions into the Zoom chat, and we will try to call on you so that you have time to ask your question. Recording is in progress. There's film crews here. If you don't want to be recorded, put a red sticker on your name badge, and the recording crews will they will avoid you, or they will cut you out of any footage that they happen to capture of you. The red stickers are at the registration desk. Welcome to the Marriott. This slide is actually a little out of date. You are in the Sabino plus Pima plus Madeira plenary room. And so right after the plenaries every morning, 2 walls are going to go up and convert this one big space into 3 smaller spaces. So after the plenary, try to just exit the room calmly and keep an eye out for hotel staff that are trying to put those walls up. This year, unlike 2 years ago when we were here, all of the posters are in the Canyon room. They are up, so there's 2 poster sessions, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Thursday. So all posters are up for 2 days at a time, and they are up all day long in the Canyon room, so you can go in there anytime to see the posters. And we designate the afternoon coffee breaks as the time when poster presenters will stand next to their posters so you can go and find them and talk to them. This year, the Ventana room is co-working the whole time. It's got round tables in it so that you can hack with other people. It's also the best place for board games in the evening. Copper this year is the quiet room. You can go in there if you need some quiet work time. The registration desk has staff all the time. They're there for questions, lost and found, and all the rooms are open until 10 p.m. So that's important if you like board games. All right, tomorrow we're going to take a group photo. It's going to be at 5 p.m. So after the last breakout session on Tuesday, you're going to go straight out, straight into the lobby. You can wear your t-shirt if you want to. And once you get out there, just listen to the instructions that are being yelled at you, and they will corral you into this area, and then we will take the poster, and then you will be released. If you're attending virtually, send in a photo via ls.sc/share so we can add you to the picture. Right after the group photo is the reception. The reception's at Gentle Ben's. It's literally around the corner. So you go out the front door of the Marriott, you just turn right and walk down the street, and it's right there. In all your name badges, there are 2 alcoholic drink tickets in your name badge, and you can get all the non-alcoholic drinks that you want. And there will also be food and music and a fun time. Wednesday's special thing is the unconference. The last session of Wednesday has nothing planned in advance. And those topics are kind of decided by you on the spot while we're here. If you have an idea for a topic that we're not currently covering in the RCW agenda, you write it on a sticky note. If you see somebody else's topic that you think, I would go to a session like that, put a little vote next to that sticky note. You can vote for more than one session, that's fine. The deadline for all ideas and all votes is the end of lunch on Wednesday, because at that time I go, I look, I see what has the most votes, and I assign those topics to the 3 breakout rooms. So those rooms and those sessions, they're not going to be talks. It's going to be more interactive. You'll show up, there'll be a discussion that happens. You can co-work on things, probably no advanced talks, just a lot of fun. So please do participate in that. I wanted to say also that the users committee is here. Most of these members are here. The users committee is here to advocate on behalf of all of you and your use of the Rubin Science platform, the data products, and all the services and tools. The UC meeting is going to be Thursday morning at 10:30 a.m. in Sabino, and we start with basically a listening session where we want people who are using the science platform, who are trying to do science with the Rubin data products, to come and say, what do you like? What do you want more of? What needs do you have that currently are being met? Are you able to do your science? So all of these people are here to talk with you about that. Also, we have the many members of the community science team are here. Their job is to support you in your scientific research. And so if you see one of them, stop, ask them about data preview 1, ask them how to access the data, all that kind of thing. I think we were planning on all of us who are CST members, we were gonna write it on our name badge. So that we're kind of like a walking help desk. We thought we might sit and have you come to us, but I think we'll just write it on our badges and we'll be out and around and you can ask us at any time. All right, this year we had 2 different groups organize workshops that kind of bookend the RCW. One was the Link Hackathon that was Sunday and is happening today again on Monday. And then ADAS-X is starting Friday after the end of our sessions. This has turned out to be a really great idea. It helps you make better use of your travel funding. And yeah, it was a great idea and it worked well. We would like to do this kind of thing again in the future. And the final slide is just a big thank you to all the session chairs and all the contributors. I know it's a lot of work to put these sessions together. This year we had over 120 contributed talks and posters, which is a new record. So thank you, all session chairs and speakers. Please arrive in your breakout rooms 15 minutes early and test your talks with the screen and the slide share in advance. Please do that to make everything go smoothly. All right, I'd like to invite Željko to come up now. This is the time that we've all been waiting for. Yes. Okay, join me in welcoming Željko to the stage.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tony Tyson. Tony is with us too. So I'm going to give you a brief summary of what we achieved since our last meeting, especially during this calendar year. We are a very resilient project. We overcame many technical difficulties. We can handle one PowerPoint.
Is this the right one? I tried to purge them all. This is more complicated.
Yes, it's the right one.
It's Microsoft. It's not as good as Rubin.
Wow.
That looks right. Perfect. So let me remind you of our mission. This is what we set to do. And we are getting there. We built this observatory. It's working. And we are beginning to understand it more and more. We just produced a data set that we made public. It is still not unprecedented data set, but next time when we meet a year from now, we will hopefully have more data than collected in the history of optical astronomy, if you look just at petabytes. We are delivering data products through Rubin Science platform, which is a tool that we will be using with all the other data releases. And our EPO team is also reaching out to the community at large, to the public. We had first look media event that I will say more a little bit later about. And we already started a citizen science project based on our own data. So we are getting there. Things are looking good. To summarize, we have a working observatory with a great telescope and a great camera. We send images from the summit routinely to California to our USDF for processing. Things are working. We are still not meeting all the requirements, but many of them we already met. We expect that the construction project will be formally completed by the end of this calendar year. We have a little bit of schedule reserve, but we are already planning for the transition of authority between construction and operations on October 24 during our last review, construction closeout review number 3 and operations readiness review number 2 that will happen in late October. We expect that essentially the entire construction team will be attending and going to Chile. What will happen on October 24? Well, nothing much. You don't have to worry about it. So we'll transfer authority to the operations team, which is already set up. You know, Bob Blum is director, Phil Marshall, his deputy. Most of construction team will transition into operations, so the knowledge and the experience of the system will remain with Rubin Observatory. In particular, our deputy director, Sandrine Thomas, will become AD Associate Director for the Observatory Operations. Willow Moulin they already are in these positions. Will Moulin is also AD for software. We'll have Leanne Guy, who will be in charge of system performance and optimization, and Alan Strauss will be leading EPO team, and their deputies are also members of a construction project. So nothing dramatic will happen. We will continue with all the expertise we have. My other deputy, Aaron Rudman, and I will also remain in operations. We will be custodians. I'm kidding you not. Our statement of work says for operations that we are custodians of the science requirements document. So we will be custodians. So construction budget is coming to an end, but we still have plenty to finish on the schedule. It's very healthy. We have two awesome project managers who are watching carefully over what we are spending at the very end of the project. As Victor would say, who unfortunately couldn't be with us today, I want to come to the last day of construction project with zero in my pocket. So we just finished last week our CCR2 or RR1 review. I'm just adding this out brief summary for our younger colleagues who are still fortunate that they don't have to go to those reviews. But these slides gives you an idea of the questions that we have to answer for the review panels. We had 16 people on the panel, and fortunately everything here is positive. It's yes or on track. What remains to be done? Well, these are the last 2 years of the project. It's when Sitcom took over and put everything together. So Sitcom performed fabulously. They put Observatory together, made it work. There is a little bit more work left, about 3 months to go to the end of October. And I'll give you Victor's list of things to achieve. But basically, we'll shut down Observatory, not the whole Observatory, on-sky observations in mid-September. We'll have about 4 weeks to finish some major installation work for the last components of the dome. We'll also do a number of other things during that period when we are not observing on sky. Based on the data that we collected so far, we are in good shape. We have hundreds of requirements, but these two are the most important ones. This diagram summarizes our top-level requirements. So on the x-axis is effective survey speed that takes into account how sensitive the system is, what is the effective area in our focal plane, et cetera, et cetera. Basically tells you how quickly you can get the data. And then the most important property of your images, in addition to depth, is of course angular resolution, is delivered seeing, and that's what's on y-axis. And the green box is where we would like to be, and the orange rectangle is where our data to date are distributed. So sometimes we get close to the green box, sometimes we stay more in that gray box. The dark gray box basically says we would be very unhappy if we ended up in here, but we would not cancel the project in LSST. The light gray box is really bad. We want to be in green box. We want to be at least where that yellow star is. And our technical teams are working hard, and they are predicting that by the end of this next 3 months period, we are hopefully going to end up in that orange star. So we will meet minimum requirement for delivered image seeing, and we will have about 10 to 20% faster observatory than we were predicting to date. Now, this is still a prediction. Once we have many months of data, we'll be able to confirm this. But we are in good shape. As I said, we are not completely done yet. This is a slide from Victor's presentation last week. There are many things to do. I will just single out 3 things. We need to complete our active optic system to get to image quality that we require. That also includes thermal control of M1, M3. It also includes ventilation of the dome. We also need to install some giant panels called light wind screens into the dome during the shutdown period. So we will have all of that accomplished by the end of construction. So let us now talk about a few other things that we accomplished. So let's look back. We talked about next few months. Let's look at the last few months. At the beginning of the year, that was our prediction. We said the camera is ready to go on the telescope. As you remember, LSST CAM was flown from SLAC to the summit in May of the last year. Then it spent a number of months in clean room at the summit. We did obtain a lot of good data with ComCam and then took it off by the end of the last calendar year. And then this diagram is from the start of this calendar year. We said, let's hope we'll put the camera on sometime in March, and then we'll have system first light early June. Just to avoid confusion, first look and system first light are not the same thing. First look was a media event that was based on data that look pretty to the eye, but they don't meet all the science requirements. System First Light is an internal project milestone, which signifies a moment when we concluded that we are performing close to scientific performance required for LSST. So we said we hope that we'll get there sometime in June, and give or take a few weeks, we kept that schedule. We did install the camera. We did get fantastic data with LSST cam, and just recently we reached that milestone of System First Light, and we started so-called science validation surveys. You can think of them as a mini LSST that we will be using to assess quantitatively how well we are doing. So earlier this year, we had a great team that took this camera. You can see it still sitting on the floor. And then they lifted it and inserted into that opening that you can see in the center of the slide. And very soon after that, we had our first photon night. First time that we looked at the sky and obtained an image. It was a historic moment. It was first time that someone obtained a 3 gigapixel image of the night sky. It was the largest ever astronomical image in history of astronomy. Of course, we were all super happy. Took us only 3 images to get to the third one that was in focus. It was great achievement by our observers, by our AOS team, by our whole sitcom team, essentially by everyone. It was a historic moment. Soon after that, we decided to focus observations on obtaining data required for Look media event. It was quite a complex undertaking. We had many stakeholders. We had a number of institutions involved, Rubin Observatory team. We have contributions from ORA headquarters, from people who had experience from JWST First Light event. That was also very successful. We had significant contributions from our colleagues at NOAA Lab and CEE team. We also had communications team from SLAC participating and helping. And we had 2 strong communication teams from the agencies, NSF and DOE. It was about 60 people. Of course, they were not full-time, but there were 60 people, and we guesstimated it was about 3 to 4 full FTE years of effort. We had 3 in-person workshops where we coordinated and developed those ideas. We had many working groups working on particular aspects, countless telecons. For example, these 2 taglines that we used in the end, it took many telecons to get to these 2 statements, because there were many other great ideas. And then you have this conversation between scientists and people who are experts in communicating out to public. And First Look was not about scientists. It was about public, about reaching out to community at large. But it is cool to work on a project and be able to say, Rubin Observatory is the greatest astronomical discovery machine ever built. Super cool. And it's true. So this is our First Look image. As you probably know, this is not full image. Our full image is much larger. Here you can see this brown rectangle on our field of view. That's what you can display on one slide that kind of is adjusted to your eyes. Your eyes are not good enough to see the whole focal plane. You would need to pave a basketball court with TV screens in order for your eyes to see all the detail in one LSST cam image. There are 3 gigapixels. Your eyes don't have 3 gigapixels. That's the problem. So that was a very hard problem that we had to solve to make First Look media event effective. And our team produced a beautiful tool called Sky Viewer that is now getting a lot of traction with public at large. And so this video was not produced with Sky Viewer, but it gives you an idea what Sky Viewer can do. It can do many more things like sonification, but let's go once more. I know you all saw it. Let's do it once more because it just feels damn good. Be patient, my friend, be patient. My nail salon was closed yesterday. Beautiful. And very soon, maybe a year from now, we'll have whole sky covered. Not to this depth, but we will have whole sky. So let's look one more. We are also opening time domain, faint time domain across the whole sky. And this design of this video is fantastic. Our team really did really well. Everyone loves this video. Most people do not realize that the sky is not constant, that sky is live, it changes. And so when they saw this video, when they realized that only a few nights of data, the observatory discovered 2,000 new asteroids, that really conveyed the message that we are an extraordinary new observatory that has observing power like no other observatory before. It will take us 1 year to go around and sweep through this blue donut of asteroids. In about 3 years, we'll reach completeness of the other 90%. In the first 3 years of the project, we'll discover 5 million new asteroids, not just 2,000, 5 million. There are 1 million known asteroids today. So we are increasing the sample that was collected during last 2 centuries by a factor of 5. And then the rest of the survey will be getting more and more data. So it is not just discovery of asteroids. For most known asteroids, there are maybe 10 to 20 observations for the majority of those million. You don't have light curves, you don't have colors. You basically have just orbit based on astrometry. With LSST, by the end, by year 10, the median number of observation per asteroid in that 5 million sample is about 300. So we'll have light curves, we'll have colors, we'll have all kinds of good stuff. It will be transformational for solar system science. So here is a short list of what those 60 people did for over a year preparing for first look. And one of the things that we had to do was to measure success. So we did have various tools that people use to measure success. So in particular, that video conference was followed by about 200,000 people, about 100K on our own YouTube channel, and then NSF, which was backup site to avoid technical problems, also had about 100K people. And people keep coming back to it. So our estimate is by now that video was viewed by about 500K people or more. It's not Gangnam Style, but it's still good for astronomy. Gangnam Style, that video was first one to get billion viewers. Now it's only number 9. The most viewed YouTube video had 16 billion viewers. Do you know which one? Baby Shark, that one. So we did well. Here is a small collage of newspapers around the world. They picked up our first look event. There were about 30,000 newspapers and TV stations that talked about our first look data, 30,000. And it was not a very good day for a conference because there was also big news about US bombing in Iran. And so that probably did not contribute. Although there are people saying maybe that was help because public wanted something positive too, and that's why they went after our first look conference. Here is a more quantitative statement. Our stakeholders expected from us that we'll get a response from public similar to what JWST did. That was the most successful first light event. And I was very concerned about that expectation. because JWST is a space mission with space resolution, and they are also like 10 times more expensive. So you would expect that the impact of your first light press conference somehow scales with the cost of the project, right? And so some magic had to happen that we reach their numbers. And the magic did happen. The magic was our teams. Those teams worked extremely hard, not just 9 to 5. They worked every day, long hours, weekends. The last 2 weeks were very stressful just before the press conference, and we delivered. And indeed, if you look carefully, we were 4 times as successful as JWST first light. We had 32,000 mentions, meaning 32,000 instances of newspapers and TV stations talking about us. And we had 45 billion impressions, which means that there are only 8 billion people in the world, but they have multiple ways of getting to news. So on that one, we also did JWST. So we did well. And just a few examples. In New York Times science section, we got 5 pages. I don't know of any other science program that got more than 2 pages. We got 5 beautiful articles in New York Times on 24th of June. There is more, like at Duke University, we had first look press conference projected onto the stadium screen. That was cool. In Edmonds, just north of Seattle, we are already like part of pop culture. You can see this cartoon talking about Rubin Observatory. We are getting fantastic responses for people in public, like this graphic designer said that our team did great. And you can also buy clothing with our first look data. These t-shirts that Ed Ajar, our program officer, already purchased. Mine is on the way. You can get them from the same place where you can get our beautiful ties and shawls. So we did well. And we should also mention that it wasn't just press conference, but our Noir Lab CEE team with Phoebe and Lars, they proposed and executed so-called watch parties. So there were over 360 locations around the world. Even Easter Island had a location that they observed our first look conference. They estimated by polling those locations that about 150,000 people watched our press conference at the watch party. So we did well. But wait, there is more. It's not just public. We are set to do science. And it is amazing, it is fantastic that actually we already did the first step. Our team took ComCam data, they processed it, they made it public to data holders in DP1, Data Preview 1. People jumped immediately on those data products. And we are having real science papers being posted on arXiv, being submitted to journals. We are already producing science. We are an operational observatory that has scientific publications. That is great. And nature sent us a gift. The last interstellar object was discovered like 6 years ago. And the third one came to the solar system just around the time that we started collecting first look data. And so we have a lot of observations of this third object, 3I. I stands for interstellar, 3 for the third object ever. And so a team, including Solar System Science Collaboration members, took those data. They were already submitted prior to first look conference when we claimed at the press conference that we discovered 2,000 new asteroids. Of course, we had to back it up. So all those observations were submitted to Minor Planet Center, and they are available to everyone in the world, not just to data holders. They are now fully public. So our team downloaded those data from MPC, and did this fantastic study. And it's an important paper because we are talking only about the third object, and we have beautiful data. You can see here a collage of detections from one night. In the middle panel, you can see that the object is resolved. Our data had, at the time of publication, the best angular resolution of any published data of that object. And we even detected photometric variability. In the bottom panel, you can see that there is something almost like periodic change in brightness, 8-9 minutes period. Obviously, here we are looking at a cylindrical UFO that rotates, and these lights give you. I will charge Professor Stubbs to talk to his colleague and tell him about it. So let me finish here. Just recently, after first look, we had a guest on Star Talk by Neil deGrasse Tyson, which reaches out to 500,000 people who are interested in astronomy. So it was good to be there. And it just came out today. And at the end of that show, Neil had a very short but very powerful, passionate plea for science funding. And I have to remind you that there is no guarantee that will be funded forever for 10 years. We have to stay vigilant and always think about that we have to fight for funding and justify it. So I'd like to play this. If I knew how to play this, I would play it. It's 1 minute. Oh, here it is. Okay. Is it going to play? So it looks like it's playing. No? No?
It should be working, but maybe it is not.
It's not the end of the world. You can go yourself and listen to that podcast. But basically, Neil was saying, yes, we can imagine a country without any public funds
Being spent on art or on science.
He's better. Let him do it.
All right, let's see.
You got it.
Hopefully.
Suppose you don't like money getting spent on art or on science. These are frivolous activities done by people who are on the fringes of society. And I suppose you could do that. You can create a country that allocates no money to the creativity expressed in art, the creativity expressed in science, or other exploits of human curiosity. You could do that. But think about it. Is that a country you would want to live in? A country with no art, no science, no discovery of any kind, no cosmic discovery? Holding aside that we might discover an asteroid that would render us extinct, seems to me we want to know about that. Seems to me. But how about the rest of the splendor and the glory of the universe brought to us by frontier telescopes, not only on Earth, but in space? This is an activity as old as what it has been to be human, to look up and wonder, what is our place in this universe? I don't know anyone who has not looked up and thought that or felt it. Nobody looks down and has those thoughts. It's by looking up. I'm imagining if you're in Congress and they say, why should we fund science? Well, what value does it play in national defense? Or the art projects that you have in mind, or anything else that's just the pure expression of human curiosity in this world? My only answer would be, Senator, it creates a country worth defending. That is a cosmic perspective.
Well said.
Suppose you don't like money getting spent on art.
As Bob said, it is great to see you all here, and let's have a fun week. Thank you.
We have a few minutes if anyone has any questions or comments that they'd like to share. Joko has taught us so much over these last many years, including some things that we'll never unlearn.
I'll take this as a compliment.
It was intended as
With a grain
such.
of salt.
All right, well, we can start the coffee break early. We will be around. We'll be looking forward to talking to all of you all week long. Have a great week. Enjoy the workshop. Enjoy the start of Rubin and LSST Science.
Did you learn the dance?